You're up. Hey guys, welcome back into the show. Vic Faust here, Pro Joe. Had a technical thing to deal with, but we continue to rock and roll here. Thanks for joining us today. It is cancelthisshow.com. February 25th. Glad you are with us today. We are ready to get things done. Lots to get to today. Mike Johnson. That's right, Speaker Johnson. Haven't seen or heard from him in a while. Talking about what Elon Musk is doing. A Trump impersonator really putting it to Alec Baldwin, unfortunately for him. Whistleblowers coming forward, talking about what's happening at the FBI right now. Dan Bongino giving up his podcast. We'll touch upon that a little bit. Vivek running for governor in Ohio. That race is over. I can tell you that much. We've also got a guest coming up at 9:30 here on banning foreign funding of ballot issues in Missouri and places and states around the country. Appreciate that. So we're back. I'm glad you guys are with us as we get started and kickstart everything on this day, on this Tuesday. Very interesting too. I find this fascinating. You can watch us on Facebook. You can also catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on X. And of course, you can watch us on Rumble. We're on those sites. We're appreciating you there. Please like, subscribe, share the show as we continue to move forward with the show, getting things done. Also, when it comes to this Tuesday, if you want to jump in on the People's Podcast platform, you can. Some people there already doing that. We appreciate it as we try to get things back up. We are here. We are making things happen. And of course, the country in a very good spot today. I found this very interesting too with the Vivek. And Vivek last night, and Donald Trump gave him a huge vote of confidence when it came to him running for governor of Ohio. Vivek, I don't even know who could go against him. Trump just talks about how smart he is, how strong he is, how he's young, has energy, and how he'll be great for Ohio. And we're just grateful that he is doing what he's doing. Here's Vivek talking about how he's going to lead Ohio yesterday.
I am honored to announce my candidacy to serve as the next governor of the state of Ohio. President Trump is reviving our conviction in America. We require a leader here at home who will revive our conviction in Ohio. And that is why today I am honored to announce that I am running to be the next governor of a great state at the heart of the greatest nation known to mankind, the state where I was born and raised, the state where Apurva and I raise our two sons today, a state whose best days are still ahead. I am honored to announce my candidacy to serve as the next governor of the state of Ohio. I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country to start and grow a new business. I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country to raise a young family. I'll lead Ohio to be the top state in the country where our kids get a world-class education in math, reading, writing, critical thinking, and physical education. I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country where we give our kids the toolkit to think of themselves not as victims, but as victors in a competitive global economy. We will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country where we embrace capitalism and meritocracy instead of apologizing for it. We will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country that takes a hatchet to red tape, overregulation, and bureaucracy. We will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country where we lead the way in the sectors of the future, from semiconductors to aerospace. Look at where we are today. How about this company, guys? Love this, in the heart of Butler County, an aerospace company leading us to the future, all the way to AI and the other sectors of our future. I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country where patriots across America actually flock to instead of Florida and Texas. I will lead Ohio to be the state of excellence in America.
Yeah, Vivek, what a great speaker, great energy. How would you like to be his competitor in the state of Ohio when you have President Trump backing you already publicly from that standpoint? He is going to be great. And I love the fact that we see him speaking. We hadn't heard from him in a while. Remember, he was everywhere. Donald Trump even talked about him being a great competitor to him when they were in the race together, moving forward, trying to do what they were doing. So really good speech. Also, when it comes to endorsements, this was it. Donald Trump has endorsed Representative Byron Donalds from Florida to be Florida governor, not DeSantis. And DeSantis was speaking about that a little bit too. I find it interesting that he would back him this early. DeSantis, I know, went after Trump, and then they looked like they made up, and DeSantis was really helping Trump, or at least it seemed. And now I read yesterday that Trump was supporting or throwing his support towards Byron Donalds in Florida to run as governor. Now, Florida is, Ron DeSantis is kicking butt in Florida. Yesterday, I also spoke about trying to end property tax in the state of Florida as well. So I don't know what's going on in that situation, but even as great as things are for the Republican Party right now and Donald Trump, there's always going to be some, I guess, interbattles. People want certain positions. You can still agree with the same concepts and principles, but there will be some battles, I'm sure. And just found it fascinating. And DeSantis also answered those. DeSantis is he's upset about it, and he said that he doesn't think that Byron Donalds has been a part of the wins recently, the big wins that Florida has had, the big wins that Trump has had. And I just found it interesting that Trump came out this early backing him in regards to this. I don't know. It's fascinating. Where will Trump go, and why is he doing this? Is it because DeSantis is going to maybe run for president and Trump knows that? Different route for DeSantis maybe in the administration, according to Jay. Yeah, but it didn't seem like that DeSantis was happy, though, just like Tanya said from the chat line. So, I'm focused on America, but these things have come up and they continue to come up. And it makes me wonder what's going on. Everything is good, but the other part of that is also this. You will have some debates. It's not always going to be cookies and lemonade poolside when it comes to politics. Case in point from that standpoint is this. What is happening right now? We showed you sound from Pam Bondi yesterday, the Attorney General. She said that the Epstein files were sitting on her desk and she's been reviewing them. Well, we also have a situation now where Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna is now pressuring the Department of Justice on not answering her letters for the status of the Epstein and JFK files. These are two women that are on the same team, but things will happen sometimes. If you didn't know, Luna was appointed. She leads the declassification task force. She publicly asked Attorney General Bondi for the status of the documents ordered to be released by Trump. This is what she said, quote, and this is Luna, of course, on the left, Bondi on the right. On February 11th and February 19th, House Oversight sent a letter to the DOJ asking for status on releasing the Epstein files, as well as the JFK, etc. The DOJ has not responded. Quote, reaching out on X because we can't seem to get a response from the AG. This is Luna texting to Pam Bondi, who we were just showing you the pictures of who they are. What is the status of the documents? These documents were ordered to be declassified. Huh. Interesting. So Once again, Pam Bondi said they're on her desk. Luna wants them out. Bondi is not responding to Luna. Luna goes to X to say, Pam, respond to me, please. And maybe it's a situation where Pam's like, listen, I've already told everybody I'm in a situation where I am reviewing the documents. As soon as I do my job and review the documents, then I will go ahead and do what I need to do. So that's where it is from that standpoint. Donna says she's awesome. How many times can you run for governor in Florida? Not sure. Greg wants to know who's going to run for the governor of Maine after the Maine governor is unseated. And of course, as we said, different route for DeSantis, maybe in the administration, but he was not happy about that yesterday. So those are two Republicans. DeSantis kind of put on his heels, I guess, to say something about Donald's. And then you have Luna saying something regarding Pam Bondi. From the chat line, we also had somebody saying, I thought Kash Patel was going to release them. Yeah, maybe. We'll see where it all goes. I mean, we're finding out right now some of these things are happening. So we continue to follow and see what we're going to do right there. Yesterday, and we talked, well, we'll get into that. I had to get into this too. I just found it interesting getting the news and the news headlines. U.S. Congressman Dan Crenshaw caught on the hot mic yesterday, literally saying that if he saw Tucker Carlson, he would kill him, unalive him. Now, I know people can say things in disgust. They can say things they don't mean, but just very interesting that this is happening now. You can hear and listen to this a few times, but listen to Crenshaw. This is a U.S. Congressman saying this. He's the guy with the eye patch. You might know who Dan Crenshaw is. And very, very sad, very interesting to hear him say this about Tucker.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot on Twitter. If I ever meet him, I'll probably kill him. He's the worst person.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot on Twitter. If I ever meet him, I'll probably kill him.
All right, saying that he will kill Tucker Carlson if he meets him. Now, Crenshaw is described as being one of the biggest rhinos in D.C., not a Trump fan, really, or Trump's not a huge fan of his either. Kathy says he even said he wasn't effing joking. Yeah, he should resign. I know. He should resign. He should resign. Abe says Popeye can't be trusted. Feel he's a rhino. Yeah, many people are saying that. Kimberly wanted to get a quote in there. She's like, Bondi has a lot more important things to do right now than worried about how fast she gets the Epstein files out, regardless of everybody wanting that. Yeah, so I don't know why. I guess he just hates Tucker. Well, Tucker had a response. So here is what we have. You'll see the quote, or you'll hear the quote again, and you see Crenshaw. This is another view. But this is what Tucker Carlson put back up. Tucker responded to him saying, why don't you come sit for an interview and we'll see how you do. I'll send you my address. I mean, classic Tucker Carlson. Classic. And no response yet if he has done that, but we'll let you. Yeah. So Tucker Carlson putting that back up for him from that standpoint. Okay. Wonderful. If you go out and you say something bad, I mean, you're going to have to deal with it. And Crenshaw is that you get to notice him, that he's unprovoked. It's not a heat of the moment thing. And that's what he was doing. It's just sad to see that those kind of things were happening from that standpoint right there. It is what it is. And that's what we start to see. Talking about some interesting things that happened yesterday. This is a very good Trump impersonator. He's finding these stars that Rip Trump said that they would leave. And he is basically going out and making fun of them to their faces as Donald Trump. De Niro ran away from this guy last week. He caught Alec Baldwin yesterday. Could you imagine? Just check this out.
Alec, it's your favorite president. Look, Alec, I will offer you a total pardon, because I want to be friends, right? I want to be friends. I will give you a total pardon for murdering that woman if you kiss the ring. Kiss the ring, Alec. Kiss the big, beautiful ring. Come on, Alec. Come on, look at Alec Baldwin, right? He did that impersonation of me. It was not too hot, not too good. But look, we're back in office. You lost. Kamala lost. She's somewhere getting intoxicated. Look at that suitcase. Unbelievable. Well, Alec, if you don't want that pardon for murdering that woman in cold blood, you can call it first degree, you can call it whatever you want, but it was not good. She's looking down on me right now, smiling, happy. Thank you for confronting the man who took me out, who killed me, and that's okay.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
No, you realize, by the
Whoa.
way, no, look at me. I want you to look at me.
Sure.
You know, you got a camera on me?
The ring, no, it's the ring.
But you realize, my kids live in this building, right? But I want you to know something.
We love the children. We're doing great deals for the children.
Listen to me real careful.
Okay.
If this camera was here, I'd snap your fucking neck in half and break your fucking neck right out. So you know that, don't you?
Okay. All right, Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, ladies and gentlemen, class act. Believe me. Believe me. Okay. Oh, he's yelling at me. I'm a citizen of this. I was born and raised in New York City. I love you, Alec. Alec, look, Alec, you don't want to attack your favorite president, Alec. Look, I love you. I love you, Alec. He's got more balls than De Niro, that I can tell you. De Niro ran away. Alec confronted. That's good. He's strong, but also he's weak because he murdered a woman. So that's okay, right?
Yep, there you go. The impersonator. You know, we show you some of those things. We have serious times here. We have fun times. We have some comedic times. But once again, when you go after people and you're a star, as Alec Baldwin has, you open yourself up. De Niro said he'd be leaving. Baldwin said he'd be leaving, and they're still in this country. And of course, they have to deal with that just like the rest of us would. Lots going on. Hey, at this time, we're welcoming Jason Sneed. He is with the Honest Election Project Action. Jason, we appreciate you joining us today. I wanted to have you on because I feel that this subject is big time for our viewers and listeners all across the state of Missouri and for people across the country. Can you tell us what happened, what's going on when it comes to banning foreign funding of ballot issues? Because it's something that I guarantee many people are not thinking that's happened or could actually happen.
Yeah, that's right. And first of all, thanks for having me on and talking about this incredibly important subject, because this is a problem where ballot initiatives that are supposed to be, the way that citizens can exercise some degree of direct democracy, whether you like it or hate it. It's supposed to be citizens having some control over their government. This process has actually become a Trojan horse for foreign nationals to be able to put money into our political system and influence the elections in ways that they're not supposed to be able to. Right? It's illegal for foreign nationals to contribute money to candidates running for office. But because these ballot initiatives are not considered elections, that ban doesn't apply. And we've actually seen, just from one single foreign national, over $250 million going into a left-wing pass-through group called the 1630 Fund that has turned around and spent $130 million to lock a progressive agenda into state constitutions. And we're working with states all across the country, including Missouri, to close that loophole and ban this type of foreign interference.
We have listeners and viewers all across the country. We broadcast out of the Missouri area, so I ask you this question with that in mind. What specifically have you seen happen, or do you know what has happened when it comes to money coming into the state of Missouri to try to influence elections?
Yes. So actually, Missouri is one of the top targets for this group, the 1630 Fund, which again is using foreign tied cash to push a political agenda and really weaponize these ballot initiatives. So they've spent $130 million in 25 states. Fully 10% of that incredible sum has been targeted at just Missouri. And so last year alone, you saw about $8 million come in to influence the outcome of ballot initiatives, including over $4 million on the abortion measure. And we've seen that pattern repeat all over the country, where they are trying to lock abortion into state constitutions, where they are changing election laws in ways that are designed to give the left a political and systemic advantage, literally rewriting the rules of our democracy to favor one political party. And again, all of this is being done with money that is tied to a foreign national.
That's interesting. You bring up the abortion issue from that standpoint. Is this why? And I'm not getting into the pro-life issue right now 100%, but We even heard our vice president, JD Vance, say that he would have been open for discussions on some sort of rape, incest situation when it came to abortions and early term. Yet in the state of Missouri, when the abortion bill passed, you could have, it was written. I don't know why it wasn't written from a standpoint with common sense. It was written from a standpoint where abortions could be allowed up until the 8th and 9th month. You know what I'm talking about. Is that why those bills get written by that, because of that money that's coming in from that standpoint?
Well, you have to understand that whether you're talking about abortion or whether you're talking about, redistricting or whether you're talking about election laws or minimum wage or whatever it happens to be, we've seen a lot of groups on the left figure out how to weaponize these processes. And they figured out that what the ballot measure process allows them to do is completely sidestep the political process, right? For better or worse, we know that if you go through a legislative process, you have lawmakers who the people elect and they have hearings, and what they end up passing almost never has 100% of what they want. But what these left-wing groups have figured out is that when they run an initiative, they control every aspect of the process. So they can put 100% of their agenda into the language that appears on the ballot, and then they can run a campaign that is financed with millions upon millions of dollars from foreign nationals and others, that is designed to essentially run a PR strategy that can convince voters that they're voting for something that they're actually voting against. And I'll give you a great example of this. In Michigan, one of the same group that we're talking about, the 1630 Fund, backed an initiative that was designed to change Michigan's election laws and give the left a systemic advantage. They said that they were enshrining voter ID in the state constitution. What they were actually doing was gutting voter ID and banning you from ever requiring voter ID. That's how good they are. And so, what they have essentially done is they have developed a professional ecosystem for weaponizing these ballot initiatives. And it's all about maximizing the agenda in a way that can be sold to the public as much more moderate than what it really is.
It blows my mind talking with Jason Sneed of the Honest Election Project Action. When you see these things happening, I'd never heard of this 1630 initiative. What has happened in Missouri? Can you make laws to stop this from happening from a state by state standpoint?
Yes, absolutely, you can. We already see that there are a lot of states that have laws that ban, just as the federal law does, foreign nationals from contributing to candidates. And we think that it is essential for state legislatures to step up and close the loophole that's allowing this foreign tied money to come into the initiative process as well. And we are seeing states begin to pass these bills. Last year, Ohio did it. Ohio has received the second largest amount of money from the 1630 Fund. Last year, they closed that loophole and they forced that group to stop spending because they said you can't continue to spend foreign tied money on our ballot initiatives, and they forced that group to stop spending. Now we're working across the country, and we're seeing bills designed to ban foreign tied money from coming into the ballot initiative process, advancing through the legislature in states across the country. Missouri actually has a bill in both the House and the Senate right now to close that loophole. I think this is one of the most important things that every state should be considering this year, because of course we're only 1 year away from the next election cycle, and I think that it is essential that we protect the integrity of these ballot measures from foreign interference.
Question from our chat line: would it have been grounds to overturn Amendment 3 in any way in the state of Missouri because of what you said, what was happening, or is that not the case?
Well, unfortunately, no, because again, what's happening right now is legal, right? They have found a loophole in the law and they are exploiting it, but they're not evading a law that is on the books. And so we think it's important for states to close that loophole. So if they continue to try again in the future, then you'll have the tools to go after these groups. We want to protect every type of election, whether we're talking about an election for political office or whether we're talking about important decisions like amending a state's constitution from foreign interference. And I don't think foreign nationals should be spending to influence any of our politics.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Anything else that you think is important to give people a heads up on regarding what's happening these days when it comes to our elections, when it comes to things to maybe people can do themselves?
Well, I think continuing to stay focused on this topic is the most important thing. A lot of people say election integrity ended with the 2024 election, but that's not the case. We had a good election in 2024 because of all the work that was done over the 4 previous years. And when it comes to things like banning foreign money, I think that there's a lot of work to do. So I just encourage people to stay engaged and make sure that everyone understands election integrity is a fight that is going to go on as long as we have elections.
How can people find out more about what you do and find the work that you guys are up to?
Well, you can follow both HEP Action and Honest Elections Project on Twitter and Facebook at Honest Elections, or follow me for all the latest news. And you can stay up to date as we're continuing to fight to ban foreign money all across the country.
All right, we appreciate your time, Jason Sneed with the Honest Election Project Action. Thanks again for the
Thank you.
education. You got it.
Thank you.
Jason Sneed. I mean, I had no idea who the 1630 initiative was all about, but there you go. Tanya from the chat line says Missouri Congress is trying to stop foreign money during our elections. A lot of that money that comes in being put to other places, especially if we see what's happening with Doge now. And if you get some loopholes that are tied up, if there was some money that was being, quote, laundered, some money being pushed here, some money being pushed there, wouldn't be surprised to see this happening. But foreign money coming in to affect elections in the state of Missouri. Missouri was one of the top states, as he said, where the money was coming in last year with the election. Foreign money coming in to sway the vote in the Show Me state. Very fascinating when it comes to that situation. Very, very, very interesting. From the chat line, Rick says, I'm not for abortion, but I don't know where people were asked to vote on it, and now politicians are trying to change the votes. I think what he's talking about is the abortion passed in the state of Missouri. And regardless of how it was written, it was passed. And now politicians are trying to change the votes. Same thing's happening from a gambling standpoint. Secretary of State Denny Hoskins is delaying betting happening, legal sports betting in the state of Missouri. That came out yesterday. The law states it has to be in place by December 1st, but I guess they can squeeze that turnip as much, get as much out of it as they can with the gaming systems right now, and drag it out to make as much money as they can before sports betting is allowed. The same thing with abortion. Abortion was voted in. And because of that, now you have some politicians trying to stop it, whether you agree or disagree from that standpoint. Those are some of the things that are happening. Yeah, it's interesting too. I mean, by the way, I was with a guy yesterday. If you bring up political issues, if you bring up abortion and you're upset, and it was funny that this comes up because I had a guy, not funny, but it's interesting. I had a guy yesterday. He's not happy that politicians are trying to change the abortion bill. And that's fine. You voted for it and it passed. It should be in play, whether you like it or not. Just like the gambling. It passed. It should be in play, whether you like it or not. But the guy didn't say it, but I guarantee he got upset. And I think he left the table on purpose. But he brought up, I'm upset about this abortion bill. I voted for it. Girl 18, her life shouldn't be thrown away if she had a baby. And I'm like, that's fine. He's like, so I voted for it. And I said, yeah, I agree with you. I understand where you're coming from. I said, but I also disagree with you. And I said it in this tone because that bill allowed abortions up till practically the baby is born. He's like, yeah, that was in there too. That was in there too. And I said, the problem is how they write it. I said, even President Trump and JD Vance said they were under, hey, we'll give it to the states to decide first of all. And even JD Vance in debate said, I'm open to listen to common sense abortion, rape and incest at a certain time, even said it, but they don't allow it. And that was the far left that didn't allow that stuff to happen. And he got up from the table and walked away. If you bring up abortion and you don't want to hear another side, you should be able to hear another side, shouldn't you? Should you be? If you bring up politics and somebody respectfully disagrees with you, there shouldn't be a problem, right? and I couldn't prove it, but I had a feeling the guy got up and walked away and did not return on purpose because he had his little dauber down, because he wanted to make a decision to bring up politics. And then when somebody else at the table, yours truly, said, yeah, I agree with you, but I also disagree with you, and gave him fact, I don't know if he felt as good about his decision to vote for abortion when he was voting for it happening up until the 9th month. And we all know the babies can be born far before 9 months. And not to get into the abortion issue, it just made me interested. It's like, why would you bring up an issue that's a controversial, and then somebody else at the table is actually educated on the subject and says it in a kind way back, even saying, I agree with you for what you say, but I also disagree because of this standpoint. And a person gets up and walks away. And I don't know if the person's Republican. I don't know if they're Democrat. I have a feeling they're a Democrat. But you got to be careful. Just be respectful to people. Guess what? We're not, even Republicans, as I showed you at the beginning of the show, don't agree with each other. Donald Trump just backed Byron Donalds, not Ron DeSantis. Representative Luna, who I'd love, is going after Pam Bondi, who I'd love, because she wants stuff sooner. We're humans. It's one of those situations. From the chat line, Glenn says, libs only want to coexist as long as you agree with them. Yeah, I see it. And it's sad because this is an older man and he should be more intelligent than that to bring up a situation. And then get his point out at a table. And then somebody else goes, well, you know what? There's another point to that. You know what you voted for? Yeah, I don't like the fact that they don't do that. And he didn't yell, but I could tell in his voice. Yeah, they did. They put that in there. And then it's like, okay, if you're, and even in the case of rape and incest, which is, I just brutal to even think about carrying a child. I could not even imagine having to go through a situation like that. It's like 0.5%. Then you think of all the other abortions that do happen where that could happen up until the 8th, 9th month, so it's, you have to go back there. Jeannie says liberals who won't listen when they give their point are like defiant little children. Connie says it's called tunnel vision. Only want to see what they want to see, not the facts. And when they hear the facts, they can't take it. So they get up and they walk away, which is sad. Because I think this person has a good heart, but they're not used to being in a situation where iron sharpens iron. And always be respectful in your response, as I was, and I will continue to be. At education, the only way we're going to learn is if we get educated, whether people want to be educated or not. But I promise you, I had a feeling that he regretted doing what he did by the way that he responded and getting up and walking away, which was just fine. This is cancelthisshow.com. Thank you for the interview once again with Jason Sneed when it comes to these elections. He brought up the abortion issue. So obviously I was just touching, it made me think back to what had happened. Doge is pretty damn good right now with what's happening. $65 billion right now estimated. That's how much America saved. $65 billion. Now you have talks of $5,000 checks going to every American. How about that? Is it going to happen? I have a feeling it's going to happen. We'll see if it's going to happen. Also, Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson, hadn't heard from him in a while, right? We like to touch in on everybody. We cover lots of topics, lots of things, lots of headlines. I thought this was very interesting when he was explaining what's actually happening right now with Elon Musk and Doge and giving an idea of what's happening with him, his staff, and his people. Here's Mike Johnson.
And the Congress who could have oversight. The problem is, for decades, as we know, we haven't been able to do that job well, because even though we requested the data and requested the insight, it was hidden. How many of you know that bureaucracy was not forthcoming, right? They're not transparent. That's the whole point. That's the problem. That's the deep state we talk about. So they were hiding from Congress. We didn't know that USAID was funding drag shows in Peru or whatever, transgender operas in Colombia or whatever, and it's madness. But Elon has cracked the code. He is now inside the agencies. He's created these algorithms that are constantly crawling through the data, and as he told me in his office, the data doesn't lie. We're going to be able to get the information. We're going to be able to transform the way the federal government works at the end of this, and that is a very exciting prospect. It is truly a revolutionary moment.
It really is a revolutionary moment for the nation. Thank you, Mike Johnson, for talking about Elon Musk and what Doge is doing for our country right now. From the chat line, Greg wanted me to get this out. Unfortunately and fortunately, over the last 100 years, our moral meters have changed. Ever evolving norms. Good point. That's true. Those things happen. And you kind of have to learn how to go with the flow when those things happen and, choose to be who you are. And if things are going a certain way that you don't want, try to stand strong in the midst of everything that is happening. I do like the fact that Donald Trump continues to push forward on this. He was speaking with Macron yesterday. Very interesting press conference, that's for sure. Joe and I were talking about that before the show. At one point, I'm not getting into Ukraine today. There could be peace there in a couple of weeks. We did a lot of Ukraine talk yesterday. There was one instance when Trump is sitting next to Macron, and we'll show you in a second, where Macron is saying, no, we gave money there. And then Trump's like, no, it's grants. We're going to get our money back. You guys get your money back somehow, back and forth. But this was Trump talking about the government job cuts and, being responsible. Very good stuff from our president sitting next to the president of France.
You're talking about the last email that was sent where he wanted to know what you did this week. You know why he wanted that, by the way? I thought it was great. Because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist. They're trying to find, that's how badly various parts of our government were run by, and especially by this last group. So what they're doing is they're trying to find out who's working for the government. Are we paying other people that aren't working? And, where is all that? Where's the money gone? We have found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud so far. And we've just started. We're actually going to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there. Because maybe somebody stole the gold. Tons of.
Thank you, Donald Trump. Very, very good. Sitting next to Macron. I don't know. I always feel like Macron because they have their whole handshake thing going on. Macron's like this little dude and he's trying to be tough like Donald Trump. It's already been alleged that his wife is a he, she. I'm sorry. I have to say that's what people refer to as that. It's a transgender. Those are what people say. They say you're married. And literally they bring it up with him. Just some fascinating things that are happening there. So Jeannie says, we now know they all lied to us. How many times have we been told it's working? It was working just how they wanted it. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So Trump doing that, but that's not the end of Trump news yesterday. Caroline Levitt with an interview last night. Here's a new topic. Remember, it seems like there's 100 good things that are going on, at least, and we try to cover them all. We're trying to keep up. How about the pipeline? Remember the Keystone Pipeline? Caroline Levitt with an update last night on Donald Trump regarding that whole situation.
Audience has it from a few moments ago. He says our country is doing very well, and he was just thinking about the company that was shooed away and canceled by the Biden administration who wanted to build the Keystone XL pipeline. He is inviting them back. We want the Keystone XL pipeline built. He wants a pipeline built in the Northeast, in New England, where I am from, where we have some of the highest electricity and utility rates in the country. This is a president who is constantly thinking about how he can help the American people, innovating and pushing groundbreaking ideas on every single issue. And that's, again, why the vast majority of Americans are seeing through the mainstream media and the Democrat Party's lies, because they are.
Yeah, Caroline Levitt bringing that up. Drill, baby, drill. We started to hear that too, right? Didn't we? I think we did. How about that? Jeannie says, not a fan of the France guy. Remember when he wouldn't back us with Afghanistan? Yeah, of course, but it's politics and people move on. Bad things, bad decisions happen. The Afghanistan pullout wouldn't have happened had Donald Trump been there. And of course, people are going to play Biden as they did. And lots of people played Biden because they knew they could. And of course, it was America at the same point in time. So we'll continue to give you updates. We'll see where it goes with Donald Trump regarding the Keystone Pipeline. And he did tell us he was going to drill, baby, drill. And we'll see what we possibly can do with that. Dan Bongino came back yesterday. He's given up the podcast, millions of dollars to go serve this country. We talked a lot about Dan yesterday as well. One issue that I wanted to play for you, no matter what you think about this, going back in time or not, he's going back in time, and he's going to go after Adam Schiff because of what Schiff did with the Russian hoax, so that nobody does this again. And Dan explains it, and just massive amount of respect to this man, giving up the money to go work for our country, and giving up an easier job than going and doing what he's going to do as the deputy director of the FBI, and the good that's going to come of it, continuing with transparency, continuing with being a clean, law-abiding country. Here's Dan Bongino.
Really good mood today. If you only knew. You hear that House on Fire song? It's one of his old songs. This guy's on fire, just like the Bailey song. That house on fire. He is on fire, Schiff. 100% success rate of failing. Why is Adam Schiff so worried? Folks, I strongly encourage you to go back and take another look today at the Russia collusion hoax. I know it's a story that's old and a lot of people want to move on. I'm going to be straight with you. I don't want to move on. We had the FBI, in conjunction with the Department of Justice, officials in Congress, foreign governments, and intel people, fabricate a story, invent a story that could have caused and done serious long-term harm to international relations with a nuclear-powered foe. It's kind of a big freaking deal. I'm not letting it go. And you listen to me. This is going to be very important in the coming days. I'm not letting this go. I want a particularly good mood today.
And do you guys feel like he should? I'm on the side with Dan on this. I mean, I don't know the other work that they have assigned to him right now, but to make sure that this never happens again, and to think what was tried to be done and all the money that was spent, taxpayer money, against Donald Trump and his reputation, and trying to make sure that he would not be in office. Yeah, I think it's a damn good thing to do, to make sure that this never, ever happens again, and to send a loud and clear message. America's changed. Comments from the chat line. He's going to be amazing. Congratulations to Dan Bongino. Sick of all of this. Go sick 'em, Dano. And Glenn says, awesome. Bongino, look out. Like you said yesterday, Bondi and Bonji. Love it from that standpoint. Okay. He's working for Kash Patel. Kash Patel, of course, director of the FBI, says that he is going to shine a light in the darkness, make sure that people understand things, list be released. Will he have full list to release by the time he gets there? Benny Johnson, who does a fantastic job with this podcast, had a whistleblower, an FBI whistleblower, on yesterday explaining what he says is happening right now before, or I guess they had a chance to get in there and explain what they're doing with files.
You maybe give us a closer in perspective as to what the subversion is happening inside of the building right now. I mean, it's obviously you're going to have like an antibody reaction to somebody
Absolutely.
like Kash.
I'll give you a big one that I heard recently, which was already passed on, is that there are FBI servers that are sort of standalone, and people inside the FBI have been working night and day to destroy files on these servers. And I was told that once these files are destroyed, the way they are set up, that even Elon Musk could not restore them. So that's happening right now as we speak. That's happening with Kash Patel being the director. It was happening before he got there. And so that subversion, like I said, started immediately. And it's only going to continue. These people, and here's another example. I was told last week, right out of the gates, Kash Patel came out and said 1,500 people, 500, you're going to Alabama. You're still going to be headquarters personnel. You're going to Alabama. 1,000 of you, you're going out to the field. He said this long before the election, even, that he said if he was in charge, he would say, let cops be cops, and so go out and be cops. Already, people are saying, we are not going to comply with that. We are going to make it seem as if we transferred. We're going to do what they call, quote unquote, paper transfers, and we're not going to obey these lawful orders. I don't know if you heard Stephen Miller in the last few days. He came out and has given a great civics lesson on Article 2 of the Constitution. The FBI falls under the executive branch. And you have these career bureaucrats who say, no, we answer to no one. Well, hopefully that's going to change. And I think under Kash Patel and Dan Bongino leadership, I think it will. But they've got to root out this subversion first.
Somebody who works inside of the West Wing came up to us in a private setting when we were in D.C. and said, you would not believe the number of times that my office has to be swept for bugs.
It's crazy.
Inside the White House has to be swept by agencies to figure out if there's electronic monitoring that's happening to us on a daily basis. It's crazy. Any idea what's on the servers that's so damning that it has to be siloed into such a secure facility with the lack of redundancy or capacity for anybody to go through and sort of from like digital forensics, right? You can uncover most data that's deleted, you can uncover it in some capacity. So somebody's worked very hard to make sure that this data that you're talking about can be deleted and destroyed forever.
We can get out of that too. You can check out more of that interview, but that whistleblower coming forward from that standpoint, I believe it 100%. Absolutely. People are not saying, oh, we have to have our room swept for no reason. They're not lying about things like that. You just have to have common sense. This is what's going on behind the scenes. I agree with most of what I heard in the chat. They're sloppy. They'll find what they need to find somehow, some way. Even somebody talking about a bomb plot, the DNC, J6-2, all of those things. Dan Bongino worked as New York Police, Secret Service. He deserves this honor. Of course, it breaks my heart that Bongino's leaving the podcast. However, he is a great patriot, and I trust he will take these ass commies down. Those are comments from the chat line that we have. Following up on the FBI whistleblower is something that we were talking a little bit from a standpoint earlier. Is the FBI deleting Epstein files as well? Pam Bondi told us last week, we played the sound yesterday, that she had Epstein files on her desk. But Alex Jones says FBI are deleting files. What do you make of this? I'm trying to connect these dots.
It's Monday night, and things are moving very, very fast as we enter the 36th day of the new Trump administration. And Garrett O'Boyle, a very credible, famous FBI whistleblower, has gone public through Michael Schellenberger. It's already trending the last 30 minutes at the top of X with what we expected is happening. The FBI is engaged in massive document destruction, hard drive destruction of the huge Jeffrey Epstein file that goes into the CIA, Mossad, MI6, and the massive human trafficking of children, all sorts of bizarre genetic experiments at Zorro Ranch. I mean, it's way worse than even what you've heard. Obviously, I first broke this story almost 20 years ago when it was first developing. And so Epstein's just one string you pull on the sweater and the whole thing comes out. So this is massive. This is all ahead of Kash Patel, getting in there as the new FBI director and exposing what's going on, exposing what's happening. Of course, he pointed out, Kash Patel, when he was not even in the FBI, when Trump was running last year, that it's well known that the FBI director had this file, was using it as blackmail. That goes back to the days of the founder of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, using similar things for control. So this is really huge. This is exactly what we would expect to be going on, because the FBI, through the deep state, was using that for control. And instead of being used for control by the deep state over the population and the power structure, it can be used to bring down the power structure. We have all the huge human trafficking by DHS under Obama, and then under Biden, much worse, and Mayorkas and all of it. And you have the president of Venezuela coming out, and we already know this is true. We already have the documents, but he confirmed that Biden wanted the major drug gang shipped up here to be their frontmen for dealing drugs. I mean, this is just a giant criminal operation, but they can run, they cannot hide. So I can't wait to see the whistleblower go public. I can't wait for the congressional testimony. I can't wait for all this to come out. But there's definitely copies of this everywhere. And they reported at Zorro Ranch alone, there were whole houses, buildings full of hard drives and tapes that Epstein had. So this stuff's...
All right. Interesting stuff. We're going to see where it is, especially as all of Trump's people take office. And there's so many cockroaches to clear out. We try to cover it. We run through an hour show, boom, just like that, try to cover all of these things, keeping track, giving our insight, doing the news as best as we possibly can. From the chat line with JEZZS, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. What else is out there? And people are worried that Republicans are going to have problems. There are a few. Well, I shouldn't say worried, wondering, we got midterms. They're going to come up with something. They're going to come there, deep state and so forth. The deep state right now is in a deep dive. Does it mean they'll go away? No, they're not going to go away, but they're in a deep dive. And this is what Donald Trump has been doing. And while all of this concerns me, I'm still staying the course of positivity. I mean, we're close to Russia, Ukraine ending their war. We've saved $65 billion of government spending, according to Doge, that has been saved. Rumors of a $5,000 check coming to each of us out there. Departments releasing info that is coming out. Border being secured. Tom Homan not putting up with any crap. Funding being cut off to cities who were taking care of illegals. Just going through some of the things. Investments in America that are happening from companies outside of America and companies within America. The wall is being rebuilt. The Keystone builders have been called back to start up that work again. The Gulf of America is there in place. Do you see? There's a lot of good that we should be feeling positive about. And that's why I get excited from that standpoint. We've got Trump impersonators tracking down all of those loudmouth Hollywood actors, finding them on the streets, giving them a taste of their own medicine. A lot of good is happening. A lot of things that were in the dark now being uncovered. That's why I love it. Trish says Zelensky giving in to Trump. He'll act like he's not, but he is. It's absolutely happening right now. This will just further expose the guilty rats that are running for cover, shredding files from the chat line as well. Yep. They're going to be able to find things. Kimberly says you can bet there's multiple copies and files elsewhere, tucked away, of all of those things that we're talking about with Epstein and Diddy and the nasty and the dirty of everything that's been happening. Are you getting tired of winning yet? We're just over 30 days in. It's like under 35 days. Wonderful is happening. Feel good about it. Our country right now is in good hands, regardless of what people try to do about it. And we still need to fight. And no, there's people who don't want to win. There's people who will find ways to say that this isn't Trump. There'll be people who say, like I said, the story last night, just be kind, be respectful, and give an account. Give an account of who you are, why you do what you do, and why you believe what you believe, and pass that good news around, because we are winning. We waited a long time for this, and now it's Americans' time. America is back. We're back in many ways. You're continuing to see the winning every day. And don't let the left get caught up when it comes to, Donald Trump endorsing Byron Donalds and not Ron DeSantis, and DeSantis being a little upset. Ron DeSantis has done amazing work for the state of Florida, and he's done amazing work for Donald Trump. That's for sure. And Representative Luna has a job to do. She wants files. Sometimes there's ways that you have to go about things. And so she was calling out Bondi. These things happen, but we're winning. And we're grateful that you guys support us as you can. Any donations always accepted. We're grateful for that. Canceltheshow.com. You click on the donate button. Also, if you know of people that want to advertise with us, we're grateful for that. And the Century Water System, the best water system in the world, bar none. Sometimes you'll hear people talk, there's this hydrogen water stuff. While it can be good in the right situation, it's not what Century does. Century is the only system that takes out the fluoride, the chlorine, the vaccines, 220 PFAs, all the heavy metals, chromium-6, arsenic, and then replaces your water when it's dead. Because when your water gets clean and purified, it's a liquid. It's dead. They make it alive with the natural occurring process, which brings oxygen in. And then, of course, magnesium and calcium infuse the water as well. It is absolutely amazing. Check it out. Hydration20.com. Hydration20.com. You can get yours 15 minutes to put this system in under your sink. There's a house system as well that's absolutely amazing. It's $3,000. And You don't want to have another system because you, as we're told, you don't want to put something inside your body that you wouldn't put on your skin. Just remember that our body and skin is a sponge. That's why you'd want that water everywhere. Dishwasher, washer and dry, your washer, showers, all of those things that are happening. There you go. Glenn puts his Century water into his hydrogen bottle. Yeah, you'll cure anything and everything with that. That is for sure. We're appreciative of the Century system and combining with us from that standpoint. That's why we promote that. Also, Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Work hard, play hard, lots of entertainment, so many good food, good time environments there. Check out Winty's. Also, Capriati's, the sandwich shop king. Wagyu beef, fresh roasted turkey for your enjoyment. That's what they have at Capriati's. Their catering is second to none. Check them out. Tell them you appreciate them advertising on canceltheshow.com. They're in the Rock Hill area, 12 hours a day for you to make things happen. Use Rockwood charcoal, grilling. Anytime you grill, you use Rockwood. It's all natural. It's not like the other brands that have fillers. The best charcoal in America is made. You can get this in Missouri. It's made in Missouri, and you can buy it at Ace Hardware. Once again, Ace Hardware. Donna says you're right. Your body is a sponge. Quit putting chemicals on it like lotions and certain perfumes. Know and educate yourself from that standpoint. Also, we give a shout out, get your real estate plan in place. MeganLivingstone.com, MeganLivingstone.com, Megan.live, it's not .com, but Megan.Livingstone at exprealty.com, Megan.Livingstone at exprealty.com. You can also give her a call, 314-249-1708. Get your plan in place, a positive approach. Make sure you understand what's happening in the area, the markets, and make sure you know that you're getting the best person to represent her. And it all starts with a call, 314-249-1708. Get your information. Guys, we appreciate you joining us today for canceltheshow.com. Have an awesome day. We appreciate you jumping in with us. So we say goodbye for the fastest hour plus of news headlines. And of course, Joe put that up there. That is the QR code if you'd like to donate anything to help us keep going and to keep the lights on. Pro Joe, Vic Faust, have an awesome day. That does it for canceltheshow.com. We'll talk to you on Thursday.